Hey, everybody. This is Dan coming to you barely blah 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 blah. Okay, let's rewind and restart. No, wait a second. This is live. Okay, just forget what you saw. And this is where you start. And action. Hey, everybody. This is Dan coming to you barely alive from Japan. And God, what is happening today? I mean, this is TV, not radio. Like, but all we got is some picture of a dog in a some sort of an outfit with a couple of dudes. I mean, what's going on? I'll tell
So
you what's
just
going
just
on. Yeah.
just to clarify, that is an award-winning dog, three-time award-winning dog. So please get that right.
Okay. Well, as some of you who haven't been living under a rock may have guessed, and if you can read, I guess. Today is a very special mainstream, and I don't mean special as in like exclusive. I mean special as in we have to take a little bit extra time and really kind of work things out because we have Hosky, none other than Hosky on the mainstream today, and he's coming to you live from somewhere on the planet. And yeah, say hi to everybody, Hosky.
Hi, everybody. You know that they've had interviews with everybody else when they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and they have to reach out to me to come on onto the show. So they've probably already had all the famous people, all the regular people, and now we're going all the way down to animals.
Yeah. I mean, really, guys, I'm going to be totally transparent with you. We are running out of content here. So, I guess we're going to have to deal with this. But listen, Hosky is still better than. Uh, anyway,
It's,
Hosky is okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's not go there. Let's not start. Let's start meme coin class warfare on this show. Okay, so all right, we got Hosky, we got him in the proverbial room right now. So let's start with how this all came about. I mean, let you tell it because I know how it all came about because I was kind of there from the beginning.
Yeah, you're
Um,
partly responsible for this. You know that, right?
yeah, yeah. No, I know. Again, guilty. Yeah, I was an enabler. I think they call it
You
enabling.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe that, you and Whale were probably the biggest enablers early on. So Hosky came about as a joke. I've been part of the Cardano community since 2017, just in the back, reading tweets, Reddit, listening to Charles' videos. And there was some discussion on Twitter about, oh, Cardano doesn't have any meme coins. So I was like, well, I could do that. So I go on, create an account, and start tweeting. Actually, not even tweeting, more like barking. And it caught on fire. And we've been around now for 3 years as of last November. So it's been quite a long trek. And we're still around. I mean, most meme coins don't last more than a few months. So I would dare say 3 years is quite an accomplishment to still be there and still worthless. Yeah, so that's kind of how Hosky came about. It started as a joke and it's still ongoing. So it's kind of like the joke that never ends. This is the
Yeah,
joke
actually,
that never ends. Oh, sorry. No
it just
singing.
doesn't. It doesn't. Actually, I remember that. I so this was back what in about like around 2021 ish or whatever,
Yep.
and so these dog themed meme coins started kind of blowing up on whatever and the coin market caps and the coin geckos of the world. And so I took it upon myself to create a meme, well, a meme coin slogan. And so I suggested to the community that we rename, in the spirit of the meme coin wave, right, and the meme coin popularity, we renamed Cardano to Cardoberman. And
Yep. I remember
I
that.
made this. Yeah, I made this whole thing with this Doberman going like this with the big Cardano thing on him, and people really liked it. And I remember, I remember you actually being on that tweet in the comments And back then, you weren't Hosky, you were Cardago, weren't you?
Yep. Cardago, that was the original name until an NFT project, Cardago NFT, came at us and said, "You're copying us and trying to profit off of our name." Needless to say, I'm pretty sure nobody has heard that name until I mentioned it now. So that kind of tells you how much of an inspiration they were.
Yeah, well, I never heard of it, and I've been in the ecosystem for quite a long time, as some of you might know.
Yep.
Um, you know, yeah, and yeah, I just remember what you were saying about just making kind of you developed your edge, your sarcastic, your humorous edge as things progressed. Because back then, yeah, we were literally just every single one of your tweets is like ended with bark or woof. Uh,
Correct.
yeah,
It was, and not only that, but the Twitter Spaces. Anytime I would go on a Twitter Space, and they would let me up because they wouldn't really let me up. It would be just barking track. So I think I didn't speak probably for the first 2 months, almost three of the project's existence. So everybody was trusting a non-pixelated dog that barked. It kind of shows you the level of intelligence of the meme coin community. Um,
well, yeah, what are you gonna do? But you know what? It actually progressed because we started having some fun. I started kind of sending out these joking, I guess, memes and tweets and whatnot. Doing, I was doing Hosky TA for a little while for a few tweets, and then the whale engaged, and
yep.
then I remember it was like, I'm not like some people really really care about followers. I kind of don't, in the sense I don't care about the numbers. I am on socials to communicate. I'm on socials to communicate with the community. I like having my size following because I just get to communicate with a lot more people. That's it. But remembering back then, I think we had like you had something like 300 or 400 followers, and I had a couple of thousand or something like that.
Yep.
And I remember that. I was looking at your following, and all of a sudden, it just started to balloon. like,
Yeah.
and, I mean,
It
it
was
was
pretty incredible. It was, I think, in the first week, uh, the first few days, it was just a couple hundred. And then a week later, I think we were up to like 5,000. 2 weeks later, it was like 15, 20,000. It
yeah.
literally went parabolic, the number of followers on the account.
No,
Um,
it was
and
crazy. I remember that. I remember how it just ballooned, and I was talking to you at that point. I think I was already talking to you at that point on
yeah,
DMs, and we're just kind of
it,
yeah, and it didn't happen overnight. I remember it was kind of people were kind of having fun with it a little bit, but it was still kind of an inside joke. And then all of a sudden, I remember just bam, like within a week, you went from like
yep.
maybe 1,000 or something to like 10,000.
Hmm.
Like holy
Yep.
crap! Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
Husky's following on Twitter went parabolic. I think like you said it was like by the end of the year, I know we were over 40,000 followers. So, and this was
yeah.
November, middle of November when this all started. So, month and a half, 40,000 followers organically, I might add, because it's kind of a custom that meme coins like to buy followers. We've never done that, so organically 40,000 followers in a month and a half is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
We're almost to
you were
double
getting
that,
well.
but
I
that
mean,
took
you were
two
getting
years.
crazy engagement. You were getting crazy engagement from the community, and everybody was just loving it. Everybody was getting into it, and the brand started growing, and it was just crazy to see because I mean, like I said, like we were saying, the first few weeks, maybe to a month or something, it was just like a couple of us going back and forth, just screwing around.
Yep.
We were just screwing around, we're just having fun, joking with each other. It was nice, and then like bam, like wow.
And that's the thing. I think that's one of the few reasons that Hosky became popular and caught on is because every meme coin that had tried before and failed miserably, they tried to do what every meme coin does.
Yeah,
Moons, Lambos, diamond hands, whatever. And we came in with like, hey guys, we're worthless. And basically the Cardano community was like, wait a minute, these guys aren't, because the meme coin culture has always been moons, Lambos, pump and dumps, right? And when
Right.
Hosky came about with something that was like, "Hey guys, we're worthless, so you probably shouldn't even buy this." I think the Cardano community was more welcoming, and embraced Hosky a little bit more. We used that momentum that we had, and we started supporting stake pool operators, helping the network itself.
Yeah.
So we were able to turn it into something that was bigger than just Hosky itself.
Yeah,
And
and that's the thing, that's really the thing about it is you definitely did take a different approach, right? You actually took the Cardano approach, I think,
right,
instead of really worrying about numbers go up too much or actually at all. You started kind of thinking about, okay, what about governance? What about stake pool
yep,
operators? I remember you had a big thing about, single stake pool operators. You
yep,
you you got into, you got into debates. You weren't afraid to get into debates, into arguments, and
no,
really move things. And so, I mean, okay, let's kind of, get this question out there. So why Cardano? Why were you on Cardano? Because I remember you confessed to me, and I'm sorry, I am definitely going. I'm just gonna have to tell our audience about this. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I hope
that's
I hope
fine.
you speak to me after this. The first, you actually were into meme coins back in the day, but instead of, but that meme coin is called Tron, right?
Correct.
You
Yes.
yeah, that was your entry drug into crypto, was investing in Tron. And then, from Tron, I mean, now, they've just been around long enough to actually have some utility that is actually utility. But for
The
the longest
utility,
time,
it's cheap
yeah, yeah.
USDC transactions. That's about it.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. At least there's that. Like, I've
Yeah.
used Tron at least for that. I mean,
Right.
before that, like back in 21, I mean, it was like it was a meme coin, or in 20, it was
The
like a meme coin. I mean, it was all just like these Justin Sun like tweets just
announcements of
from
announcements. He is the king of announcing
exactly.
announcecements.
Yeah, like
The partner,
like every
the partnership, the Google partnership was amazing. They announced they were using Google Docs as a company, so that was the
it
level of the ICO
like
madness back in 2017.
like that was the meme. Like that was literally the meme. I mean, he was like, it was literally, I was reading every single one of his tweets, was just like, oh my God, man, come on, stop this. Don't, like, this is so cringe. And so, okay. So you got out of that ecosystem, you get into Cardano. Why Cardano? What attracted you to Cardano? And why build
I think
this in
like
Cardano?
right. So I think like a lot of us, it was the whiteboard video, right? I was browsing the interwebs. I was looking at tokens, Tron, Litecoin back then. I'm trying to think what else they had back there that I bought. A little bit of Ethereum here and there. A lot of crap coins. Tailcoin was another one that I owned, but yeah, Tron was my first. So after navigating that, I ran into a YouTube video from this unknown guy called Charles Hoskinson, who just happened to have tweeted about like literally 10 minutes started about thinking in the shower, but we're not going to go there. And he basically, was talking about
Mm.
a vision, and that vision was basically financial inclusivity for everybody, not just certain individuals. Talking about how a decentralized network could actually mean people can transact without worrying about governments interfering, about just what sound money can do for the world. And that was kind of what uh, got me hooked. Started looking into Cardano, and I was like, okay, this is something that I can, something I can get behind. It was the first time I thought about any token as something more than, hey man, I'm going to get rich with this one if I hold it long enough, or if I try to day trade it. And from that point on, I just kind of started learning more about the ecosystem. I was just a silent participant in the back for quite a few years. I mean, been around since I think September, October of 2017 was my first ever crypto transaction. And 2021, Cardano got NFTs. I was buying and flipping those like Pokemon cards. And then yeah, that fateful night at my office while I was bored, uh opened up Twitter and started pretending to be a dog. And from that point on, I mean, it's been life changing. Not in a financial sense, because I've always said if crypto goes to zero, my life really wouldn't change, other than I wouldn't travel as much. But from when it comes from just the perspective of being respected within the community, and again, as an quote unquote pseudo anonymous individual, I would dare say it's quite interesting. Like you mentioned, I've always been a proponent for decentralization for small stake pool operators. Now I'm heavily involved in governance. I'm a D rep, but I also am part of the um, constitutional committee, the interim constitutional committee for Intersect. So yeah, I've been pretty involved. Going to Argentina here in a couple weeks for the constitutional convention.
Hey, I'll see you
So
there once again because I'll be there with
yes.
actually this time with Theo, with
Oh,
Cardano Chef.
nice. I haven't seen Theo in a while. It's been a
Yeah,
while. I
yeah.
think what, since Rare Evo last year, since
Probably, yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
had that IHOP date before we left. So yeah, that'll be nice to see Theo again.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
as you know, we met a couple of times. Me and you met a couple of times in Argentina, and unfortunately, they don't have an IHOP. But we
They
can
don't.
go. We can go to that one the one cafe that took an extremely long time to bring a sandwich and cost
Oh
us
no,
like
we're not
50
going. No,
bucks.
we're not going back to that one. That was like American pricing, and
It wasn't even
like
American
I don't know what
pricing.
kind of service that was.
It was like a-hole pricing. I mean, that just there was. I looked at that bill and I laughed because like what now? We had what, a couple of coffees and then and a couple of sandwiches and it
It was
charged us
like
like
$50.
like yeah,
Yeah,
it's like what? You guys do know
it
this is
was.
Argentina, not downtown Manhattan, right? Like, oh my god, yeah. It
Yeah, it was a
was
little
yeah.
ridiculous. So I do have to step away for like 5 minutes, like I mentioned earlier, potty break, and it's kind of hard to go longer than 30 minutes when you're a dog. So I'm gonna let you continue to entertain the people, and I want you to
Ah,
sing them a
okay. Well,
song.
well, let's see. I you know what? I mean, karaoke is a thing in Japan, but I just don't know if I
You're
want to
not good at
sing
it.
right now.
All right.
Um,
So how about you tell the community what you do in crypto and what is Zengate, what is Palmyra, while I come back in like a couple minutes. Potty break.
okay.
Be right back.
Okay. So, Palmyra is this thing that we did on the interwebs, and it's it's good. It's really pretty, and there's a lot of tea on it, and 8 to 20 bucks. That's the explanation. You know what? Speaking of rugs, it's really interesting the husky culture, how it developed. I mean, I okay, so I'll tell you, I saw this thing grow. I mean, in an amazing way, and what really happened was I kind of wanted to. I kind of wanted to do kind of like the anti Hosky. All right. And so I hope that Hosky forgives me for spilling the secret here. Um, but so I said, okay, you know what? I wanted to do something because a couple of years ago, I was just gonna, I saw how good it was, how much fun it was. And you guys know that I'm kind of a troll, especially in socials. And so I decided that in the spirit of this whole thing, well, first of all, actually, to tell you the truth, I actually approached the Cardano Foundation and asked them if it's possible to officially rename Cardano to Cardoberman for one day and then do some charity thing, throw in there, I don't know, like whatever, right? So, just have like a community vote on that, and if that happens, then there's going to be, I can make a donation and just make it fun. Anyway, they kind of turned, they said, hell no. I did. I tried. And so following that, I said, okay, you know what? I still kind of want to screw around with this a little bit. And so, and this is unfortunately I'm going to cut to the end. It didn't work out. But my idea was to create the anti-Hosky. And so what I did was I created a meme coin myself, and I called it Hosky SV, which stood for Hosky Shitcoin Vision. And
Wait, isn't
so
HSV a venereal disease?
it is. And like there was so much potential there. There was so much potential there, but it just didn't catch on. It just didn't catch on, and
Didn't you
but
steal our original Cardano logo
I
too?
I stole the original Cardoberman or Cardago logo and put sunglasses on it and called it Hosky SV. Yeah, I minted that, and I tried to do it, but it just didn't catch on. And at that
Didn't
point,
you get like 2 followers in like
I got
month?
like 2 followers. I got 2 followers and a humongous amount of hate. It was like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure the Hosky community would have not been very happy with that back then.
No. Back then the Hosky community didn't screw around. Yeah, so they just kind of unloaded. They're like, "What the hell, man? What do you like? Don't this." I mean, it was kind of hilarious. I mean, I had fun for like one day. It was worth it for one day because I did get this 1 or 2 tweets that just got this amazing amount of hate on it. From people like, what are you doing? This is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. So, I mean, it was ridiculous. I'm happy that I did it. Unfortunately, it didn't take off. It was supposed to be this was supposed to be like the Hosky anti-Hosky like rivalry within the ecosystem. Didn't work out, but
I'm glad it didn't, because now you've got Palmyra, you've got Zengate, so I think it's probably better for the ecosystem to have.
It's better for the ecosystem
that than anything else.
But now I have to do trolling in completely doxed way, and it's just
that's true.
Sometimes I just want to say some shit and I just can't. And even I say quite a few things, and I still sometimes have to kind of
you do.
Yeah, once in a while,
your tweets are some of the more enjoyable ones about just making fun of all the Cardano trolls and just about all the drama that's going on.
Yeah, that is
You've
always
got good
fun.
Commentary there.
That's always fun, and I guess maybe it's because I am doxed. It kind of keeps me balanced. I don't go way too way off the reservation, so that's good. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of tell the people about the Hosky SV shitcoin vision.
We're just gonna call it HSV.
HSV. I wanted them to tell about my HSV. That just never came to be, and I'm kind of sad about that. But you know what? Like you said, it was for the better, and I can still shitpost, but I just have to do it under my own name. So anyway, I see
now you got to dox. I am. I think I am.
You are. You're back from.
You realize that just by us talking about this, there's probably somebody making that right now, and they're gonna give it another shot.
Well, there's somebody who actually made the Cardoberman Twitter account. And
interesting. That was the original idea.
Yeah, that was, So somebody made the Cardoberman account. I have, MG Pi loves Palmyra, but that's because I pay him to do that. So,
dude, you can't be commenting on your boss's like live stream and try to shill it. That just looks wrong, bro.
Go code something. Go code something.
There you go. Yeah.
Go. Come on. We got a bunch of stuff to code. It's not gonna code itself.
He doesn't.
I did like 25 years of it. So I'm okay.
Do you pay this guy to like be on Twitter?
And I actually do pay him like money and not.
But to be on Twitter or to code?
I honestly I don't know because I forget about that.
It could go either way.
Listen. Let's switch gears a little bit. Well, if we can. I mean, I think we're grinding gears most of the time, but So let's talk a little bit about what happened in Dubai. And well, first of all, I actually would like to talk about Fetch. Okay,
Yes.
so you have come out with Fetch. It's one of those agitators or whatever you call them. Aggregators. Yeah, that's the ticket. Tell us about Fetch. What's up with Fetch?
So, right, Fetch is a DEX aggregator for Cardano. What is an aggregator? So, let's say you want to dump $10,000 into the latest meme scam on the chain, and the liquidity on a decentralized blockchain isn't always in the same place. So, we have multiple DEXs out there. We have MinSwap, we have Sunday Swap, we have Wing Riders, we have Splash. Anyways, there's tons of them, right? So if you're going to put a large buy and you buy it from a single place, well, let's say that you make the price swing by 20% because there wasn't that much liquidity. Well, if you spread your buy to all the dexes that have that token and minimize the quote unquote slippage, then you actually end up getting more tokens for your ADA. So what Fetch does is it basically looks at all the dexes when you try to submit a transaction. Our algorithm will find the best route to take to get you the most amount of tokens. And you will usually end up with more tokens than you would have if you had bought from a single dex. And yeah, that is basically what an aggregator does. So we launched Fetch, or we announced it back at the Cardano Summit this year. It was actually Hosky taking over another project. We actually took over ADA Markets and rebranded them. So they've come under the Hosky umbrella, the cabal, I guess you can call it. And I've been working with Shamrock Pool, Patty, and also Cardano with Paul, YouTube guy. They're the developers behind Fetch, and they are now part of Hosky. So yeah, Fetch is our DEX aggregator. So it's fetch.hosky.io if anybody wants to go try it out. It's still early on. We have a lot of development plans, lots of features still coming. We actually hired a developer, a third developer. Actually, technically, that's our fourth developer for Fetch. So I guess you can say we're actually building something.
Actually, you know what? When Victor switched to this graphic, I thought this was actually photos of all your developers. They're like, one of your developers looks like a pig. I'm
Oh
sorry to
yeah,
say that.
that's. I mean,
The other one looks
I
like a
cannot
cat,
confirm nor deny.
and then
Um,
you got this one dude that looks like a thing of milk. It's just like, where do you get these guys from?
Yeah, so that's
Anyway,
actually that's the bubble. We considered calling this balls because fetch dogs balls, but we went with the more industry-wide term of bubbles. It just shows you a kind of a picture of the ecosystem and how tokens are performing. So just a quick overview, another way to look at the
mm.
ecosystem. But yeah, if you go to the website, we also currently have a promotion. Crazy part is we had rebates. So we do charge a fee whenever you do a transaction that's greater than 70 ADA because you can trade freely up to 69 ADA. Get it? 69 with no aggregator fees. So anything under 69, no fee. And if you do incur a fee, we actually have a promotion that we will reimburse the aggregator fee in Hosky. So technically we don't, but we do. And the promotion was for 50,000 ADA worth of Hosky when we started it, which was about 2 trillion. However, due to idiots buying the token for some reason, I guess now that is worth about 110,000 ADA worth of rebates. So it looks like the rebate's going to go a little bit longer. And yeah, so that's one of them. And you can trade anytime. We have a bot for Discord coming out, so you can buy and sell directly from Discord. So we'll be releasing that one here in the very near future. Lots of stuff coming out. Lots of partnerships that are just waiting on our API to be finished. And yeah, even some wallet integrations already. I can't hear you because you're muted. Still muted.
There we go. Now I can unmute. Now I've been unmuted. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't unmute myself like Epstein. But anyway. Yeah, Victor did. So,
Uh-oh.
anyway. Yeah. Indeed. Indeed. Listen, fetch sounds pretty cool. I mean, it's almost like, ADA markets. Yeah, just
But
I wanted to get it out there because I saw you getting grief about this.
dude,
Yes. Yes,
I
please just explain this for once and for all to people where it
I
came
mean,
from.
it's funny because I mean, I did just say that, right? Like we actually took over Ada Markets and we rebranded them. We're taking them over. Ada Markets is pretty much end of life at this point because Fetch is Ada Markets. And there was even some comments recently about, hey, why do you guys have a catalyst proposal? Well, or why does Ada Markets have a catalyst proposal? Well, that's because they weren't Fetch at the time. We probably hadn't even talked about the takeover because it was literally all done within a week. We're like, yeah, let's have a conversation about this. Let's do it. And yeah, so again, Ada Markets is Fetch. It's not like it. We're not copying them. We took over them. Also, this is funny. At one point, Dave, who's a controversial person for arguing with watermelons, um, was part of the team. By the time I stepped in, he was no longer part of the team. So I'm like, okay, I can work with this. So all the FUD that comes around, like, oh, you're paying Dave or Dave's fudding because he's part of the project. Well, he is not. So you can, stop fudding. But you can move the FUD to Hosky. That's always acceptable. Um, so yeah, we just wanted to do something different. I personally wanted to support builders in the ecosystem that I thought were overlooked. And I've been using ADA markets for quite a while as my go-to aggregator prior to this. So one day I reached out to them like, hey guys, how can I help you guys to like grow? How can I help promote you guys? Sent them a DM, went to bed, woke up, or actually in the middle of the night, I was like, wait a minute, I got an idea. And the next day I messaged them and say, hey guys, can we have a quick meeting? I would like to discuss a business proposition. And I actually put a presentation together. So they were actually the first people to get like an actual business proposition presentation from Hosky. So it was totally off brand. It was totally not something that I'm used to, at least in crypto. I mean, I'm pretty good with presentations in real life. And yeah, we had that. I had a Twitter space with Book.io at the time, and middle of the Twitter space, they reached back out to me. They're like, "Hey, we'd like to discuss this further." So I'm like, "Oh, I guess they like the idea." So yeah, we had a second call, a follow-up call later that day, and they're like, "Yeah, let's do this." We just hashed out a few concerns, and we kind of shook hands virtually, and we got to work on the rebrand. And a month later, the summit happened, and that's where we announced what was going on. And again, I do repeat, Fetch came from ADA Markets. It is the code from ADA Markets and will be expounded upon by Hosky now.
So I'm glad we got that out of the way because that was kind of building up controversy that just had no reason to exist. So
Right. It's kind of like not, we've never denied it. I mean,
yeah,
ADA Markets basically tweeted out, "Hey, we're rebranding and we are Fetch." So I don't know how controversial it is that, oh, you guys are ADA Markets. I'm like, yep, it is. So
yeah. Well, listen,
Hosky and
you mentioned,
controversy.
yeah,
That's not new.
that has never happened. That's never happened. Hey, listen, since you're talking about, you were talking about going to Dubai. I can understand that you really, love being, cooking inside that dog suit and,
Mhm.
that, wonderful Dubai weather. And, the Cardano Foundation and their amazingly great wisdom always choose to have the gala party outside in September-ish or maybe October-ish. And for those of you who haven't been to Dubai, October in Dubai is like middle of the summer in like
Mhm.
regular countries. So and when you're out there and in full dress, you're just kind of like, okay, bring me like 16 waters and put me right next to that giant fan because
Mhm.
I need to be cool. Yeah, but you must love that. I mean, you love to sweat. So tell us about Dubai. Well, first of all, how's that experience been to you? I mean, you've been recognized in Dubai several times and got a bunch of awards. Um, you got an award when I got my award on the same night. So you kind of stole the
Listen,
thunder there.
listen, listen. I know the truth, and I'm sorry to break it to everybody else. Dan is not Ada Well. He wishes he had Ada Well's bags, but so maybe he can identify as Ada Well minus Ada Well's bags. But yeah, when it comes to the summit, it was fun. This is the third summit that I've attended, period, and as Hosky, all three. And yeah, we definitely got an award. We actually have the largest NFT project on Cardano. We minted a small number of NFTs, 420,420, sold out in about 10, 11 months. And we've been awarded the NFT awards 3 years in a row. So I guess it's helpful to have a low barrier of entry to your community. You don't have to spend hundreds of ADA or hundreds of dollars now because ADA's gone up. You can be part of the community for about 5, 6 ADA to get one of our NFTs, our cash grab NFTs. The name obviously is a play on words to what most NFT projects are cash grabs, but we're honest about it. And yeah, Dubai was a really good experience. I had just been to Argentina for the summit in Argentina that IO attended. Then flew over to Dubai. I do not recommend flying 28 hours. It gets really hot in the
Don't you
city.
now? Don't you
Uh,
now? Because I got that coming up in 2 weeks. Because that's literally how long it usually takes me, if I'm lucky, to get to Argentina from Japan.
if there's no
So
delays, right? Yeah, no,
if
I
there's
I
no
did
delays,
that.
or I'm not flying through like Paris or something, because
Yeah,
Russia decided to have a war with Ukraine, so now I can't fly over Russia. So
so you got to take a detour.
are you drawing right now? Sounded like you
No,
were
I'm
drawing.
no, I'm shaking my coffee cup. I'm half
Oh,
coffee next to me. I've been driving
oh.
since 3 in the morning. Okay, so um, it's now 8:44 in the morning. So I kind of need coffee to stay awake.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Coffee, I might have to drink some coffee. It's only almost midnight here, so I might have to have a cup so I can
Oof.
work until like 3 a.m. like I usually do. But
Yeah.
anyway, listen, we still have some really interesting stuff to cover. Like for example, okay, so we're talking about going to Argentina, right? And
Yep.
so you've actually been traveling quite a bit more. I mean, I remember actually we met first time we met face to face in Austin, right? In 22.
Consensus.
Yeah,
Yes.
consensus.
Well, is that
And
face to face? Because it was more like you're so tall that it was like my face to your
it was like
chest.
face to chest.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the first time, and yeah, I mean we've been talking before that, but yeah, that was the first time we met, and so back then you just kind of you were still kind of not really doing the traveling circus
Right.
thing with everybody like you are now, but now we see you more, and one of the reasons why we see you more is because of governance.
Yes.
And so, I mean, look, the notes here say that I should ask you about what you think about governance and blah blah blah,
You
freaking
don't want
blah.
to know the truth, bro.
Listen,
It's a
listen. Well,
mess.
listen. What I want to know, actually, I want to get into kind of like the mess up things. Okay, so we know what you think about governance in general. I mean, at least I know, and if people don't know, they should kind of listen to some spaces. We don't have to reiterate here.
Rehash it. Yeah.
To rehash it. So let's kind of get into the crux of it, right? So, what specific governance proposals or changes have you seen within a Cardano ecosystem that you think align best or do not align best with community's interests? Because you do have some pretty strong opinions on that.
Oof. So there's we're currently in an interim period, right, where we don't technically have a ratified constitution. That's what we're going to Argentina for. There's going to be over 200 delegates that are going to get to vote on whether or not they want to ratify this upcoming constitution that we have yet to see publicly. And we're 14 days away from the conference. So that's one of the concerns. There's a lot of discussion about the budget that was proposed that's currently being hashed out as well. So that question, by the way, sounded like you were reading it from a script, but I won't make a comment on that.
You saw
Um,
the script. You don't reading it from a
oh,
script. It's just listen.
you realize
Sometimes
I didn't look at anything you guys sent me because I've been busy. So yeah, no,
Most of the
when it
stuff is
comes,
not from a script. That one is, but the reason is because I kind of decided what the script is. So
fair
there is
enough.
that. You know,
That's fine.
I'm not
I
just an
forgive
actor.
you.
I'm also the filmmaker as well. I'm the Clint Eastwood
You're
of
the
the film. So,
director. You're the director
yeah,
and producer and everything.
yeah. So it's
No,
okay.
so as it stands, there's so everything that was been discussed so far is kind of more around that. There's not a lot of proposals that can be enforced at the moment. So we're kind of like in the chicken before what came first, the chicken or the egg part of governance. And as it stands, I think it's just more. My reason for involvement is because I want to see what's happening, right? A lot of people are afraid to talk about or to go against the narrative, whatever that narrative may be. And that's one thing that Hosky has never cared about. Like SPOs were always small SPOs were always kind of like picked on by the MPOs saying that they were jealous or whatever not. So I stepped in there and be like, I took the side that I thought was right, which is supporting single stake pool operators. That was a giant debate early on Hosky's life. And I think part of that helped to give it the credibility it has up to this day. I've called Charles Hoskinson a crying child publicly, which I thought was project career suicide. However, it was totally different, actually. I dare say we've actually had a better relationship ever since. He thinks about me in the shower now. So, I guess things are getting pretty serious there.
Yeah.
And even when it comes to governance, I'm not one to bite my tongue. As far as, I think it's ridiculous that it's 14 days from the conference and we still don't see the Constitution publicly. Delegates, they already have a draft that they're able to see, but none of them have dared leak it out, which is, again, if I was a delegate, I would have leaked it out already. So I guess that's probably why I'm not one of the delegates, but I am part of the Constitutional Committee. That's why I will be taking clown outfits with me to the conference. For all those that don't leak it and don't think it's a problem, they can wear it for the conference. I'll be wearing one myself. You can have one. Actually, no, I don't have one in your size. I'm sorry.
You
So,
should have
you
one
know,
my size, and we'll call it Hosky Leaks.
how about we just give you like a nose? I'll just get you a clown nose. I'll
Yeah,
take
but
clown
then they'll
noses
think
with
I'm
me.
Patch Adams.
Yeah, true. So, as far as governance, we're in at a stage that, and I've said this since the beginning, before any of this started, is I think we're going to be a great example of what to do or what not to do, and it's concerning, but I'm also very hopeful because how many times does a individual, and I'm not even talking about me, but just the community as a whole get to have a say in what happens in a multi-billion dollar, tens of billions of dollars actually, um, entity or blockchain in this case. So again, one of the reasons I came to Cardano was because of the promise of financial inclusivity, the promise of decentralization, the promise of people having a say. And I think there is no greater achievement, no greater accomplishment, or no greater thing to look to than to have a government or governance that is on chain that people get to participate in actively and decide the path that's taken. So I'm very hopeful. So I'm not a pessimist. I am very passionate about Cardano, though. So you can say, and a lot of people have said this before, like Hosky's Cardano's guard dog, because whatever BS comes against it, I'm not going to put up with it. But I'm also not blind to our shortcomings as an ecosystem. And I think that that's important. If you want to participate in governance, you can't be a moon boy and pretend like everything is fine when everything is not fine. And there are disagreements. Again, it's called governance. This is from government. We just had a big election in the US. We saw all the crap being flung between the two candidates. It's the same thing that's going to happen in governance. It's not going to be everybody agreeing with each other, but it's going to be learning to compromise with whatever the other side is. I mean, we don't have parties, but whatever the other side is, the proverbial other side, I guess you can say. Um, it's just, again, I think as long as everybody is looking out for Cardano's best interest, we will always find a way forward. I am not overly concerned. I am definitely overly passionate, though, that we want to be as transparent, as clear, remove as much of the bureaucracy as possible, because government is famous or infamous for
Infamous.
ridiculous amounts of bureaucracy. So It's
It's so famous,
definitely,
it's infamous. Yeah.
yes, it's infamy. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's the future's bright. We definitely have. You're a Republican, a rug publican. Ah, yes,
Republican.
he's a rug publican. Um,
Republicans. Yeah, that's in the new Hosky party is the Republicans.
we're the Republican Party
Yeah.
of Cardano.
You can be the
So
Democrugs,
the demo pugs,
the
demo
Democrugs.
rugs. Is that a dog breed?
Sounds like it. So I'll
Okay,
go with yes.
fair.
So listen, okay, so we're gonna get a little deep, a little bit, but I mean, one of the reasons why, people say, okay, oh, United States is a democracy. It's not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic, and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is that pure democracy actually would not be a good thing, at
Yep.
least in my opinion, because you would constantly have this thing called tyranny of the majority, which is
Yep.
basically the rule of the mass. And so if the mass rules, that's how it is, then
Hmm.
then the people, the minority basically is just kind of like screwed, and they don't have a
Hmm.
equal voice. So essentially, in the US, if you did that, I mean, you would basically have like literally like 3 or 4 cities running the entire country because they
Yep.
got the most people in it. And, it'd be
Hmm.
like New York, Los Angeles, like maybe
Dallas.
Dallas, yeah, Miami. I mean, just
Yep.
literally a handful of cities running the entire country. So this is why we have the electoral college. This is why we have all these different, the system of checks and balances and things like that. And so,
So you have candidates campaigning in a town of population, 5,000, because that actually has a lot of weight when it comes to, swinging the election. If we did not
right,
have
right.
that, we would basically all the entire focus, all the money for campaigning would be spent on the top cities in
Yeah, yeah,
the
like top
U.S.
5
So,
cities, top 6
yep,
cities, that's where it would be, and everybody else can go screw themselves because they don't matter,
yep,
because their voice doesn't matter. Now, in a governance type of system, right? So what we're building with Cardano, well, first of all, community expectations, because
hmm.
there's always going to be these people out there that are going to say, "Oh, well, the cabal is running things, and we don't have a
Did you
voice."
call? Oh, sorry. I thought you were calling me out publicly.
Uh, okay. Anyway, yeah, we're not going to get into that because I don't want to, you know, um, explode. I don't want to suicide myself.
Fair
Um,
enough.
yeah. Anyway, now, how do you? Well, first of all, how do you ensure that in this kind of governance, first of all, you have a more balanced way of representation, and you don't have this tyranny of the majority, and you don't have the sentiment or an overwhelming sentiment of, oh, well, there's just a couple of people running this. It's like, it's like whatever. It's like Hosky and like whatever and Brick and a couple
Bison.
other people, like whatever, and just running things, and then everybody else can go screw themselves. How do you make that not happen? What do we do?
Well, um, there's these things called DREPs and
Derps.
DERPs. Yeah, or DERPs. You can call them DERPs for short. And ideally, the way that a DREP works is you're able to delegate your voting power to them. So think of it as almost like, honestly, it's more like representatives close to parties. Because if you have a community, like Hosky, for example, is a community, and you guys have a specific goal, whatever that goal may be, um, you're able to pool your ADA together to give all that voting power to an individual so they can vote on your behalf. So obviously, you do have to do a little bit of research. You do have to keep your DREP in check to make sure that they are voting the way they said that they were going to vote, which should line up with your best interest. So that is probably the best way that you can ensure that the ecosystem is not ran by the cabal or by Hosky or by whoever you don't like that you want to accuse of being in the cabal. Is pick somebody that you know is not in the cabal and is willing to stand up for what is right for the ecosystem, putting the ecosystem above self-interest. I think that's very important because it's really easy to vote in your own self-interest, and it becomes problematic. So look for a DREP that has a good track record in the ecosystem, one that basically, again, like I said, is Cardano first. So that's the best way to participate. I wanted to say get more involved in governance, especially in the early stages, because this is what is shaping the constitution. This is what is shaping the government structure that we're going to have. But at this point, since the Constitutional Convention is in 2 weeks, they've kind of missed out on that. But that doesn't mean you don't get to participate. It's still very early on in the process, and definitely get involved. Delegate to a DREP, attend the workshops that happen, join the Intersect Discord, which is where most of the governance discussion is happening, and just be there. Again, it's governance only works if people participate. Same thing applies with general government elections. Some races are decided by a few hundred votes. So just get
Yep.
involved, participate. Don't come crying after something happens that you don't like and you didn't really participate the entire time.
So how do you make sure that the smaller guys are represented? I mean, the guys that don't have millions or hundreds of thousands of ADA. How do we do that? Is that the derps?
Yeah,
Do
well, I
they
mean,
take care of that for us? Or?
I mean, you don't have to be, you don't have to pick a DREP. DREPs will be voting on proposals that come through, parameter changes, anything really. So what you want to do is basically you can vote on your own, but I would dare say it's probably not the best use of time. I will always say that you should be your own DREP, so you should be registering yourself as a DREP and voting with your own ADA. But if you don't have the time or the knowledge on certain things, then I would say look for a person that can represent you. So I would always pick for self-representing governance, but DREPs are just an option that can help with, you know, voting on your behalf, so you can go trade meme coins or go do DeFi or go do whatever you want. But yeah, I will always say you should be your own DREP. But if not, if you want to pull your resources, you want to pull your ADA with other like-minded individuals and support a particular DREP, then that would be the best way to be represented. Um, Not only that, but support your SPOs. They also have a say in what is happening, and most importantly, keep people accountable. If nothing, if you don't have ADA, you can still hold people accountable publicly, which also is very much important part of the process. I think as it stands with just government as a whole, most governments officials, that even those that step out of line or have been stepping out of line for a long time, they're not held responsible. They're not held accountable. So hold people accountable.
Yeah. Listen, we only have a few minutes, and so I mean, I just kind of want to know if okay, so Hosky is the undisputed overlord of governance, and he can, he's the genie of governance, but he doesn't have a master. He's his own master, and so Hosky has the ability to grant us one governance change.
Ooh.
Just with the flick of the wrist or the wave of the hat or the
Well,
whatever
the wag of a tail.
the
The
wag of a
wag of a
tail with the wag of a
yes.
tail. What would that governance change be? What would you implement if you had that power?
Ooh, that's a hard one because what would I do?
And with
Really,
great
bro?
power
This
comes
this
great responsibility.
that is like all right. If I was to make one governance change, it would be to make the Constitution public. Sorry, it's kind of a pressing need at the moment, and one that I think a lot of people
It's
wish they
it's
had
a pet
access
peeve
to.
at the moment, right? It's
So I'm
yeah,
gonna kind of go
yeah.
with like, yeah, I think I would make sure that the Constitution is available for everybody to see. There you go. Governance.
Yeah, yeah, there we go. So your one wish for governance is to have better governance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's actually really good. That's really good. Well, listen, I mean, look, it's happening. You said 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks in
Yep.
in 2 weeks in Argentina. I got that wonderful 26 hour, 28 hour plane ride to look to forward to. You got a nice whatever 14 hour plane ride to look plane ride to look forward to. We got some workshops over there. Like I said, myself and Theo, and actually our newest member of the Zengate team there on the ground in Argentina, named Kufa, is also going to be there.
Yes. Great guy.
Yeah, great guy. We're very very happy that he came on board and then he's just making a lot of stuff happen in Argentina for Zengate and for Palmyra and for other things that we're actually building out right now, which we will be announcing in Argentina. So this is an announcement of an announcement.
Ooh, this
It
is
is
the
a
announcement of the
this,
announcement.
I dedicate this to you and your first choice of
Oh,
crypto.
thank you, my Cardano Justin son.
No problem. No problem. I remember this one super cringe. It was he went on some like hiatus and then came back and his thing was Justin the Sun is back. I'm like, oh my God, did you just write? Did you call yourself Justin the Sun? And if
Yeah,
you didn't, you should fire your freaking social media people because that sounds retarded.
oh, I mean,
Do it.
pretty
Just
accurate.
put him on unemployment because that was just not okay. Anyway, getting back to this, right? So 2 weeks, Argentina, everybody's going to be there. We can make a difference. You can make a difference in governance, or at least try. Hopefully, we'll see the Constitution sooner or later. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing you again and not paying $60 for breakfast, but looking forward to seeing you again. Yeah, yeah. And we are also, so again, I'm just gonna kind of like throw this out there, not gonna give any specifics because that's just the kind of person that I am. But we are going to be doing something with Fetch. Something.
Yes, we're not going to talk about it though.
We won't. That's it. That's all the talking I'm doing about it. Something is coming. You'll know soon enough. Most likely in Argentina. Okay, so yeah, yeah, we already went over this vape from Dave the Vape, whatever. Yeah, I know there's no IHOP in Argentina. I'm actually, you know what? I have an idea. So I live close to a town called Icoma, which is like down the street from me. And I'm thinking that, once the bull run happens and I have a few bucks, to play around with, I was going to open up my own kind of American diner out here, which is sort of popular. They like these kind of restaurants out here in my area. And I will call it Icoma House of Pancakes. So it will be an IHOP, but it will be my IHOP, and I can avoid copyright infringement like that.
That's a good one because you can still refer to it as IHOP.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And it'll be a diner. We'll have pancakes. I mean, no Japanese people will get the reference. I'm sure of it, unless they've been to the US and they know the thing. And that's like 1%. But I'll have my own laugh. And plus, I'll have my own IHOP. So, you guys are asking when IHOP in Japan. Well, that's when it's going to happen, when I do my own Icoma House of Pancakes.
So but for now, we need to make sure that Palmyra succeeds so that you can give us an IHOP in Japan.
And it will. This is really the driving force behind everything. I just have to confess, like the whole thing about I have to Palmyra has to succeed so that I can open up my own IHOP. Full stop. Anywho,
You got my support, sir.
Hosky driving around in his car and drinking coffee and talking to us and stuff. Look, it was great to have you on. It's, I would say, come back anytime, but do you know your way back?
I don't know. I struggled because last time I got lost. Remember, I was supposed to be here and I wasn't. So
Well, it's the
Possibly,
internet
but
that
it's not
rugged you.
guaranteed.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
internet rugged you. You got rugged. We got rugged by Hosky, but actually he got rugged.
I was the one that got rugged by my ISP.
Yeah. So somebody got rugged, and that's what happened. But anywho, listen, it's great. It was great to have you on. Thank you for coming on. Thanks everybody for joining. Would you like to say any last words to the the 2.5 people watching this thing right now?
Yes, get involved, participate in governance, delegate to a D-rep, and get rugged.
Get rugged indeed. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks a lot for joining. Thanks everybody. Thanks for all the comments over there and all the whatever you call that. Anyway, guys, once again, thanks for tuning in. And this is Dan coming to you barely live from Japan, signing off.